Victor Wembanyama has been called the greatest draft prospect ever. But why? Why do some NBA scouts and fans believe that Wembanyama is a greater prospect than LeBron James? Wembanyama's hype actually started when he was 14, when he helped his French U18 team finish second in their league. At that time, Victor was already 7'1", and in addition to his incredible height, was being noticed for his ability to shoot jump shots as well as attack the basket. By 2021, Wembanyama was seriously being considered as a generational draft prospect, and his talent was on display against Chet Holmgren, who was the 2022 NBA Draft's second overall pick. In this game, Wembanyama not only showed his elite ability to score, but his amazing rim protecting ability was on display, as he recorded 8 blocks. Victor dominated that whole tournament, and standing at 7'3", showed scouts why he may be the best prospect the league has ever seen. Since then, the hype surrounding Victor Wembanyama is unlike anything we've ever seen since LeBron James in 2003. Heading to the San Antonio Spurs with arguably the greatest coach of all time, the question remains whether Victor Wembanyama will be a generational talent or generational bust. Although Victor was selected as the first overall pick, this may not be so promising for him considering the history of number 1 overall picks in recent memory. In the past 23 years, only 6 number 1 picks have won a championship. Of those 6, LeBron James was the only one to win a Finals MVP. In fact, out of the 77 first overall picks in NBA history, only 8 of them have won a Finals MVP. In recent years, number 1 picks have drastically underperformed expectations, from Anthony Bennett to Ben Simmons to Markelle Fultz, and potentially even Zion Williamson. So being honored with the number 1 pick hasn't exactly guaranteed success, especially as of late. But Victor isn't like the recent number 1 picks, or like anything we've seen at all. His most prominent feature is the fact that he's 7 feet 4 inches without shoes. This makes him tied for the 10th tallest player in NBA history. Out of every number 1 pick in NBA history, Victor would be the 2nd tallest, only behind Yao Ming. Only 8 number 1 picks stand at 7'1" or taller, including Kareem, Shaq, David Robinson, Yao Ming, and Ralph Sampson. These players combined for 12 championships and 52 All-Stars. This is undoubtedly some elite company, and perhaps exempts Victor from the curse of the number 1 pick. Not to mention, almost all of these players were traditional back-down centers who dominated the paint. Despite Victor's insane height, he is far from a traditional center, and instead draws comparisons to the likes of Kevin Durant and Giannis. Wembanyama is a really solid ball handler, which is nearly unheard of from a player at his height. He can also score from any spot on the court, and his size and length makes his jump shot borderline uncontestable. He has an 8-foot wingspan, which ties for the 3rd largest in NBA history. This insane length not only allows him to shoot over everyone, but it makes it extremely difficult to score on him. He can contest shots at an unprecedented level, as well as play the role of a rim protector. Not only is his frame and basketball ability unmatched compared to recent number 1 picks, but Victor is actually being drafted directly from overseas, the first number 1 pick to do so since 2006. Some of the best players in the league today, including Giannis, Luka, Jokic, and even LaMelo, played basketball overseas before being drafted. Overseas basketball has been said to be harder than the NBA, as Luka Doncic once said it was harder to score overseas than in the NBA. Not to mention, players coming from overseas have often been playing against grown men since a young age. Victor just finished his season with the Metropolitans '92, which is in France's top pro league, in which Victor was the 2nd youngest player on his team. Having already played at a pro level, Victor's transition to the league could be seamless, similar to the likes of other players coming from overseas. With all of this being said, Wembanyama is certainly a phenom and could certainly be a generational talent. But what about his flaws? Even though Wemby may be the best prospect we've ever seen, many worry about his durability and longevity. At 7 feet 4 inches, Victor is only about 220 pounds, which is not much heavier than the average NBA player. For reference, Kevin Durant is listed at 240 pounds. At this weight, people are concerned that Victor will get bullied in the paint by centers, such as by Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, who are 284 and 280 pounds respectively. At his height, injuries are always a concern, and we've seen injuries ruin the career of Greg Oden, who is 7 feet tall and drafted first overall in 2007. But despite his somewhat lanky frame, Wembanyama certainly has the time to gain weight. The prime example of this is Giannis, who gained 40 pounds of muscle during his first 2 seasons in the league. Scouts believe that Victor can be effective at his current frame, but putting on weight and muscle would only make Wembanyama even more potent. Heading to San Antonio under Greg Popovich, Wembanyama certainly has some big shoes to fill. The Spurs saw great success under the Tim Duncan era, and now pairing a proclaimed generational talent with an all-time great coach, Wembanyama could certainly bring the Spurs back to a dynasty-level team. After having a rough shooting night in his Summer League debut, it's still only the beginning for Wemby, and it remains to be seen if he can alter the future of the league. Under the Spurs management and with his talent, Wembanyama could go down as one of, if not the greatest basketball player ever. While we watch Wemby's career unfold, I thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take it easy.